My name is Maury Kaufman, and I am a personal trainer, an advanced health and fitness specialist, and a lifestyle and weight management consultant, all certified through the American Council on Exercise, which stands for ACE, and it is the largest nonprofit certifying agency in the world. I am also an elite personal trainer through Idea Health and Fitness. And I have been training, helping people just like you, hundreds of people just like you, for 14 and a half years since 1997. So, you know, I've been in this business for a while. And now, the CES in my name, my title, it stands for Clinical Exercise Specialist. And that just means that I can train people with special health issues such as type 2 diabetes, heart disease, or musculoskeletal injuries, just to name a few. So anyway, that said, we're going to be talking about your metabolism and how to increase it. So why is increasing your metabolism important, do you think? Does anybody know? Or you have any idea?
I would like to burn calories. That's
all right. That's very good. That's very good.
Does it help burn fat?
Yes, it can.
Does it help burn this fat?
Well, do that again.
Get that on film.
Yeah.
It is on film.
Yeah, but I bet you're editing it.
Oh, that's fine.
We'll have to edit that.
Well, in metabolism, having a higher metabolism helps you get rid of unwanted fat, helps you to lose weight. It also just makes you healthier. When you have a slow metabolism, you're going to be, you're going to have extra weight on you. You're not going to be as energetic, and you're just going to be unhealthy. So it's important to have a higher metabolism because it does make you just plain healthier. So with that said, we are going to actually start with a video, and then we'll go on to point one.
Okay.
What's a good way to boost your metabolism when you've hit a plateau? This is so important,
Right.
especially after 40.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
give us a big tip here.
So there are a few things, the good news, that you can do to boost your metabolism.
Okay.
The first one is, without a doubt, exercise. Now, when you do cardio exercise, like walking or running or biking or swimming, you're burning extra calories, which means you're boosting your metabolism while you're doing it, and then for a few hours when you stop doing it. So that's great news. The other great thing is strength training. Just 2 to 3 or 4 days a week, if you can do 10 to 15 minutes of whether they're planks or lunges or light weightlifting, that's going to increase your lean body mass, which will also bump up your metabolism. And from the food standpoint, the best thing you can do is incorporate protein with all of your meals. Because when you eat protein, you get a little bit of a rev in your metabolic rate, more so than carbs and fat. So just make sure you have either eggs or low-fat dairy.
All right. So she hit on some points that I'm going to cover tonight too, but point number one on your list too, and I think it's the most important thing, is to make sure you eat breakfast every day. Now, how many of you do not eat breakfast?
I didn't used to. I've started.
Okay, great. All right.
I knew you were going to say something.
Okay.
So I ate breakfast today.
No, not just today.
Now, how do you feel now that you started eating breakfast? Do you feel
I felt good.
Okay.
I felt good.
All right.
But my problem is when I was eating breakfast before, though, I was eating the wrong things. I was eating donuts and cookies and cakes and things that were real sugary, and so then I was always hungry.
Right.
If I eat the right things, a little protein, a little fiber, it kind of sticks with you.
Good. That's very good. Yes. So eating breakfast is really important because what it does while you're sleeping, your metabolism is slowing down, your heart rate starts slowing down, and you go into like a starvation mode, so that you're in a complete fasting what we call fasting part of your body, part of your, a fasting mode. And so when you wake up, you're in that fasted state. So when you go without breakfast, you go through the day without breakfast, your metabolism is going to continue to stay in that fasted, low metabolism state. But when you eat breakfast, even if it's just like, like Sue said, a little, some protein and something with some fiber in it, or even like a protein shake or an energy protein bar, just something small within an hour after rising is going to jumpstart your metabolism, kick in that unfasted state and start, giving you the boost that you need.
So you're not talking about pancakes with eggs and bacon?
No, I'm not talking about pancakes and eggs and bacon. I mean,
How disappointing. Yeah, it's ready to eat.
yeah. No, and I know everybody is in this constant rush, and I have to grab, that's probably why you don't eat breakfast, because you got to dash out the door with a cup of coffee and a donut in your hand.
Because if I don't, my boss is all over me.
Darn it! Well, a good thing to eat for breakfast would be something with a little protein in it, and like something with fiber in it too, to kind of balance out your macronutrients. Now, if you're in a, things that you can do if you're kind of in a hurry, is just maybe to make a protein shake. I think Dave and I were talking the other day that, if you throw in a blender half a banana and some, maybe just a little bit of orange juice and then some milk and protein shake, whip it up in the blender, and then you can drink it on the way. It's really good. Gives you some energy as well. That's just an idea. One of the recipes I've actually given you is a recipe for breakfast on the go. So there's about 3 recipes there. You can make them in advance, and then you can just grab them as you walk out the door. So, yeah. Okay, let's move on to point number 2. Yes,
okay, like in the morning, is this too much? A piece of toast, a piece of wheat toast, a half a banana, and a small piece of ham or whatever. Or sometimes I might just do some, what's that? The fake egg stuff,
Oh yeah,
egg beaters. Yeah.
Sure.
Is that
absolutely?
too much? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, that's great.
All right.
That's great. No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Because you're balancing your proteins and your carbohydrates and your fat.
Okay.
So very good.
I brought this just so that's an energy bar.
Oh, here's an energy bar.
Yeah. I'm a quick trip for $2.
Oh wow. It's called almond and coconut. It's called Kind Fruit and Nut.
Yeah. It's really good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, good. And you can get another thing's really good that I like, and Mark likes them too, but he tries not to eat too many of them. They're very addictive. Are these balance bars, and you can get them at Target for like $1 a piece. They're and my favorite flavor is a chocolate, chocolate chip cookie dough. Cookie dough, and I put in I keep them cold, put in the refrigerator, and then I eat them, and it's like. And my grandson loves them too. Every time I come over, if I don't bring him one, I end up eating mine. So I give him one so I can have one too.
So those aren't too much of a calorie though. There's not a lot of sugar in it.
No, well, there's about 200 calories in one bar, and I think the sugars are about 15 or 16 grams. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Yeah. So it's not too high in sugar. The protein is like, I'm gonna say 12 grams. And carbohydrates is 14 grams. So it's kind of like, just a balance of your macronutrients. So,
And I had read somewhere that if you keep the sugar below 17, it's not as bad for you as if the sugars go above 17. Is that accurate? I mean, sometimes that stuff I read on the internet is
right.
I was writing it, but you know, I just wanted to know from an expert, is that
Oh,
sound
sure.
like a good rule of
Well,
thumb?
yeah, probably, but to tell you the truth, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, that's something I can look up and get back with you on that, but I honestly, I hadn't heard that before.
Okay.
But it sounds like a good rule.
And then there was also a rule of thumb about sodium, but, you know, I'm old and I can't remember it, but there was something about sodium, if it's below, you want to watch and make sure that the sodium is below a certain level, but now I don't remember, is it like
Right.
200 or 300?
Well,
Or
yeah.
is it even lower than that? I don't remember.
Right, you mean
Per serving.
Serving, right,
Yeah.
and per item, yeah, right. Something like that, I don't know what the amount is either.
Yeah,
But yeah, you,
because it seemed like it was on the same website that I was looking at that it said both of those things. So
Right.
I didn't, but ever since I found out that anybody could go on Wikipedia and write whatever, I'm very distrusting of anything I read anymore.
right, yeah, you really gotta watch what you write, what you read on
Yeah.
the internet. All right, let's go on to point number 2. Okay, here we go. Drink caffeine in the morning.
I just read that.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, that doesn't mean let's drink a lot of it, like, you know, like a big, huge thing that all the morning long. That's gonna just make you come up and then crash and about an hour later. But just like a cup or two. And also, I would not suggest any kind of soda, like even a diet soda. Diet sodas have a lot of sweeteners in it that just really play havoc with even your metabolism, I found out, but mostly a lot of health problems. And diet sodas are just not good. Ever. Oh, I know that. Keep them in moderation. Everything in moderation. So that I know I was gonna hit on somebody.
You know, it's interesting though, if you look at the ingredients in a diet soda, it like makes you not want to drink it anymore. It's all chemicals. So I mean, I know everything is chemicals, but it's like, oh my
And
God.
it's probably, I've always said, whenever I get a headache, I said, I bet you it's the soda.
Yeah.
And then you kind of forget, and a couple hours later, you want a soda, and then I get a headache again.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Yes.
So you think the sweetener like equal with them or bad on your metabolism too? Like
Yeah, if you can do a sweetener that's like a more,
Like a NutraSweet or something? Is
NutraSweet.
that still chemical?
it's okay, but it's not, it's like more like Splenda or,
Okay.
Stevia.
Stevia.
Stevia is probably the best. Or another one is Truvia that I get at Whole Foods. You can do that.
but the yellow is the best, you think, if you're
Yeah.
out and they, okay.
Yeah, if you're on a restaurant, Splenda would be the one I would ask for.
Okay.
Or if they have either the pink, between the pink and the blue, get the blue, because that's, yeah, get the,
Really?
yeah, the worst is the,
Sweet and low.
yeah, sweet and low.
Really?
That's the
That's the
worst.
sweetest too.
I know. It's, I know.
You just go with white.
How come you never told me that?
That's why you're here.
Man, on Mondays, he eats that right with
I
me.
know.
Down in a rapid rate. Do we have an insurance policy?
I wish we did.
Now that she knows that you're eating it.
All right, well, let's move on to point number 3. Drink ice cold water. Here's another one. And, you know, make it, you know, the minimum is 64 ounces of a day. Yeah, the minimum. So the bigger you are, the taller and you know, heavier you are, the more water you should be drinking. And make it ice cold water, which I like it cold. I drink water. But who here doesn't like the taste of water? Okay. Well,
I'm the first to admit
yes, okay, well, and a lot of people don't for some reason. Like, we're going to pick on Mark, and I was going to say, he tends to drink these G2s for the flavor, because to him, they're flavored water. Well, you know, there's a lot of sweeteners in them, and they're really not good for you, but anyway, but to help you with the taste of water, you know, add a little bit of lemon in it. Hello? A little bit of lemon, even like, I think Dave and I were also talking, like a little bit of diet soda. Yeah, in with just a little bit, just to give it kind of a taste that you would like. Something that will give you some.
So is carbonated water the same as regular? I mean, it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't
It's
matter.
carbonated, you can drink it.
Right. You can drink carbonated water, as long as it's water, you know.
What about the energy drinks? You know, like they always have ads on TV that, you know, make you sweat in colors.
Oh, yeah.
Are those bad or good? I know they're pretty high in salt, aren't they?
Yeah, are they, yeah. Are you talking about the Red Bull and all that?
No, I can't think of the brand name, but just,
5-hour energy.
5 Hour Energy.
well, yeah, so what about that? That's-
5 Hour Energy is actually, I actually think it's pretty good. It's, you know, just mostly B vitamins. Now there's a caffeinated one. There's enough caffeine in it, you know, to get you going, but not enough to where it give you that crash at the end. Give you actually 5 hours of energy, where it's just kind of leveled out. But there's also a decaffeinated one. But I think there's also one that's extreme caffeine. Well, I don't know about that one, but I don't think that those are too bad, actually.
Okay, I was thinking of Gatorade, that's what I was trying to.
Oh, Gatorade,
Right.
like a full strength
G2,
Gatorade?
yeah.
No. Yeah, I know, I just mentioned G2, by the way.
Is that the same thing, basically?
No, Gatorade is higher in calories, sugar, way high in sugar, calories, and sodium. And it's for Gatorade, you really need to be an athlete to be drinking that. You need to be exercising 5 hours at one time. Like marathoners will drink Gatorade to help them continue to get through the rest of their run. But now G2, you know, it has a lot of sweeteners in it. I found this out. She's taking all your stuff away.
You're going down that
Didn't you just buy me a case of that?
See, now we know you do have a life insurance policy.
Is drinking tea good? You know, I like
Drinking tea
tea.
is
I
great.
just like, you know, unsweetened tea, you know.
Right, perfect.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, and we have another one back there that likes tea too.
Okay.
And green tea is better also for more antioxidants.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, exactly. You're right.
Okay.
But with caffeine in it,
In the mornings.
in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink it, maybe, you know, that much in the afternoon. I don't drink in the afternoon, as you well know, because I tend to fall asleep a little bit early at night. All right, so moving on. How about number 4? Okay, perform resistance training. Now, here's where I come in, okay? What resistance training does for you, it builds that lean muscle tissue, the lean tissue. And when you've got the lean tissue going, it burns more calories than fat. And after a complete resistance training workout, your metabolism will stay high, its highest, for at least 2 hours later. And then it also will you will continue to burn calories even when you're sleeping or at rest. So that's what I do. That's my primary thing that I do is I design and work with people with resistance training. So there's different methods that you can do. I do depending on your health and your assessment that I would give you, your fitness goals and how fit you are or not fit you are, then I design a program for you around basically a resistance training program. Some cardio in there and flexibility as well. That all kind of makes up a nice, healthy balance of fitness, so to speak. So, I mean, there's different kinds. I have some of my clients doing supersetting, which is basically doing one exercise back to back, two exercises back to back without resting, like maybe a chest and a back, or even 2 chest exercises back to back. It kind of increases your heart rate a little bit more. And then I have some of my clients doing circuit training, which is just doing a lot of like 9 exercises. I'll have them do 9 exercises all in a row without resting, and then do a little cardio in between there, and then we repeat that. And that it gives you more of an aerobic cardiovascular type workout as well as that resistance training. So.
So do you have to spend all the money to join a gym and, you know, buy all that equipment to do that? Or is this stuff you can do at home?
You can do this at home. I got a lot of in-home clients as well too. And you can do, I call it fitness under $100. All you really need, you don't have to buy any expensive equipment either. You just need one of those big Swiss balls that you can get at Target, a few dumbbells, make sure they're heavy enough because you do want to challenge yourself. So get a few dumbbells and these exercise tubes, and you can have a great workout with just that, you know.
But I think too, Maury, it's you sent a video out of an exercise last week, and just watching you and seeing how it was done right.
Yeah.
When I went to the gym, and the next day when I woke up, I could feel all the muscles that you talked about, but I wasn't doing it right. Seeing how you do it and learning,
Right. Sure.
I think that's the thing that makes a big difference.
Right,
You know,
right.
I mean, it really did all the muscle groups that you talked about.
Oh, did it?
And that was perfect, yeah.
Oh, great.
So it really helped a lot.
She complained bitterly the next day.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Is that why she came in at 10 instead of
Well,
She claimed it was because she had to have breakfast.
I was getting out of bed.
yeah. Well, as you can see, my cameraman is also my client, Mark, and so you know, he complains. He has me. You know, he was so sorry that he referred Dave to me, and Dave's my web guy here, and he's done great things for me, and I started doing these videos, and I had to have, you know, exercise videos, and I had to have a client, so Mark's my client. So now he's sorry because when he comes home, he wants to lay on the couch, and I say, okay, honey, we're going to do a video.
Thanks, Dave.
You never want to see me again.
Right.
Why's Dave got a room in the basement?
Put him in the exercise room, right, with the ball, the bands, and the dumbbells. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to point number 5, is move around a lot throughout the day. You know, I know a lot of you probably sit around at your desk. You have desk jobs. You know, so try just kind of tapping your feet, tapping your toes, listen to some music while you're at your desk. Just anything to kind of move your body. Also, if you have, you know, maybe something you want to tell your coworker, get up and tell them. Don't email them. I mean, especially when they're like across the hall there. You know, go up and just walk over there. Walk around a lot. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park your car a little further away than you do, and walk to the door. Use your pedometers to see how many steps you're taking. That sort of thing. Moving around, sitting. There's a study out there that says that even if you work out every day for an hour every day, that if you sit for a long period of time, it can you can get a heart attack. You can have a heart attack if you're it's a killer. So sitting around too much is not good.
We talked about an exercise ball, sitting in an exercise ball.
Right, we did. That's a good thing too. Same thing. You have those like those Swiss balls. You can even use that as your chair. And what that does is it engages your whole core muscle, which is your whole torso. You know, your abs, your rib cage, and your entire back area. And so while you're sitting on that ball, it's engaged to keep you from falling off that ball. So you're burning, not only you're burning more calories, but your whole core area is working. So if you can do it all 8 hours, boy, that's really good, because I think you might get tired.
TV on that.
Yeah.
Instead of the sofa.
Yeah, and you can kind of roll around, do a little swivel hip or whatever, whatever. Sure. So let's move on to point number 6. Okay, this is eat every 2 to 3 hours. And it's, you know, like I know some of you, how many of you eat 3 square meals a day?
That's right.
I just started.
So how many of you eat 2 meals a day? 1 meal a day?
I just eat one, but it's all day.
So actually, if you go long periods of time without eating, that puts your body again into a fasting starvation mode, and it actually tells your brain to, we're in starvation mode, we better slow things down, so it slows your metabolism down. So it's very important to instead eat more often, not more, you know, not make them large, but make them more often smaller. So say you eat, so I don't even know if you know how many calories you eat a day, but if you, another thing I can help you with too, I have a formula that I use that'll tell you if you want to lose weight, what you should be taking in. But take that total calorie count and then divide it up into 5 or 6 meals, making it, you know, maybe lunch maybe might be a little more than some of the others. Maybe the snacks in between will be 100 to 200 calories. And then that's how you would want to try and eat your calories every 2 to 3 hours. And, you know, if you're hungry 2 to 3 hours later, or even in the morning, that's a good sign. That means your metabolism has kicked in. So if you're hungry, if you're not hungry, you know, maybe it isn't kicked in. And I'll tell you what, when you start exercising, you start doing cardio and strength training, you get hungry. I'm hungry all the time. So yeah.
And I know I've heard what low glycemic is, but I don't really remember. What does that mean, low glycemic?
Okay, that's a good question. Low glycemic is foods, primarily we're talking about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates that will either spike your blood sugar or not. And certain foods that will spike your blood sugar are like refined carbohydrates like white flour, white rice, white potatoes, anything that's like...
I guess sugar would be in that
too. Sugar, any of your cakes and cookies and all that, those are really high glycemic. Right. Now, yes, okay.
So if the total calories are 130 and the total carbs are 17, would that be a low, or is that kind of high?
Yeah, it depends on the carbohydrate more than it does. I mean, sugar. So, how many calories is that?
It's 130 calories with 17 carbs, 5 fiber.
5 fiber? Whoa, that's great.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the fiber too. The fiber, if it has a lot of fiber in it.
Yeah, it's a multi-grain sharp cheddar cheese filled cracker.
I'm impressed.
Right. that was my next question. Is that when for low glycemic foods on the starchy side is your whole wheat, your whole grains, anything that's high in fiber. That's low glycemic. That's what's going to, you know, keep your blood sugar level, not spike it. And it also gives you that energy, sustained energy throughout the day. So it also keeps you from feeling hungry. Sometimes, you know, people that, have you noticed that if you eat a donut or even a piece of cake and that's it, about an hour later you're starving hungry? That's because your blood sugar, when you ate that cookie or your donut, it spiked that blood sugar way up there, so then your insulin kicks in from your liver to bring that blood sugar down, and bring it down probably too low, which then tells your body that not only am I starving to death, so I need to eat something, but also it tells your body to store fat. So it's like,
So then the recipe you gave us for the cookies, this is a low
this is
glycemic?
a low glycemic meal.
Okay. Because it's got the whole wheat flour,
Right.
and it's got sesame seeds and oat bran, and, okay.
Yeah, oat bran is great, oatmeal is great. You know, and I didn't think to give you a list of high and low glycemic meals, but I can put it on, I can do that. I can put it on my website, that's what I'll do. And then it'll be on there.
So basically, anything that's white, you know, like bread,
Right,
white rice,
right,
anything that's white, potatoes, try and stay away.
right, exactly. Anything that's white. That's a good rule of thumb to look at. Yeah, except for milk.
What about fruit? Is fruit good to snack on in between meals, or is that too high sugar?
It's high in sugar too. Berries are good. I know, do you? If you eat it with something else, like,
Like almonds and apples? like
Right.
cutting them, yeah.
right, or even with a slice of cheese, low-fat cheese, and an apple or something. You know, it's kind of like keeping those macronutrients balanced so that you know it keeps your blood sugar level instead of spiking it up.
And then I do have another question. It says curd style farmer's cheese. Is that cottage cheese? Or is farmer's cheese something different?
Oh, on the recipe?
Yeah.
You know what?
Curd style, when it said curd style, I thought maybe it's cottage
It
cheese.
does sound like cottage. I think it was. You know what? I think when I used this, I
Used
probably
cottage cheese?
Cottage cheese.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Because
Right.
you know, I'm a stickler for if I go and buy all these things, I'm gonna be looking everywhere. for
Right. You don't,
Where's curd
you don't have to
style
follow
cottage
this to the
cheese?
T, but you know,
Farmer's
like
market.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Because this sounds like it's really good, and then I would imagine then that they stay nice if you put them in like Ziploc bags, like
Absolutely.
serving.
And then you can just grab it in the morning and go.
And is one cookie a serving, or?
Yeah.
Or does it depend, I guess? I could make a really big cookie.
Yeah, if you say that's one too. No, it's the next page. It's oh, here. So 4 servings.
2 servings.
Yeah. It doesn't say whether that's 1 or 2 cookies. So I don't know, I guess it actually makes 4 servings. It depends on how big they are.
Yeah.
So I would, I would try maybe eating, if it's small or whatever, you might want to do 2, yeah.
Thank you for the recipes.
Oh, you're welcome, you're welcome. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's watch another video. Because that also goes into a little more about what we should be eating.
No, you can't have my cracker.
I know that.
I just left Washington, I'm starving to death on the way here, and she goes, oh.
I know,
But you've got crackers there,
All right, BFF.
Just eating more often by itself
Yeah, we start-
increases metabolism.
Okay.
Every time, it's always interest in that, the foods that increase the metabolism. And one thing one needs to know is just eating more often by itself increases metabolism. Every time you eat, your metabolism goes up a little bit. And so the worst thing one can do is limit themselves to eating once or twice a day. So the first thing you want to do is spread your food out throughout the day. Second, always eat something in the morning within 2 hours of getting up. If you wait too long, the metabolism slows down because it's trying to preserve you more since you've not eaten earlier. And then when you do eat, the body tends to hold on to those calories rather than burn them off. So that's number 2, is to always eat something within 2 hours of getting up. Number 3 is always have a little bit of protein with each meal, because protein tends to increase the metabolism, and always have a little carbohydrate with each meal because it does that too. Quickly absorbed sugars tend not to be as helpful as the slow absorbed. Slow absorbed tend to be better for the metabolism than, let's say, concentrated sweets, like something in a Coke or even fruit juice. You know, so that's, you know, like number 3 is the protein and the carbohydrate. When people cut their carbohydrates out completely, which they often do to lose weight quickly, they do initially lose a lot of water weight and some fat, but over time, cutting the carbs out entirely is not a good idea. The metabolism doesn't stay up as much as it should. Now, there are some specific, not so ingredients, but spices that actually boost the metabolism. One of them is cayenne pepper. And then anything that actually makes the body warmer, you know, truly does to some degree boost the metabolism. Green tea has been shown in some studies to boost the metabolism very, very slightly. And then there are the vegetables that have very little carbohydrate, like your green beans and your cauliflower and your broccoli, that to some degree will boost the metabolism because it takes more energy to digest them than they provide.
Yeah, it's the computer will slow. Yeah. When I stop, it's gonna start again.
Okay. One has to be careful, though, about certain foods like soy, not overdoing soy, because they have elements in them that actually adversely affect the thyroid. You know, so if you look on sites about the thyroid, you'll often notice it'll say, well, don't overdo the soy. And then
Oops. No,
Interesting she mentioned soy because,
even though I mentioned the broccoli, you know, the cauliflower, they can be good in that one respect, but they also are called cruciferous vegetables, and they contain goitrogens. And too much of them can adversely affect the thyroid too. So it's kind of a balance you have to have, you know, with the foods that can boost metabolism and ones that don't. Well, an ideal lunch meal, let's say, would be something like, let's say you had a grilled chicken breast, you know, that didn't have a lot of fat, and then you had some vegetables with it, like green beans, and then maybe a whole grain roll, you know, with it would be kind of an ideal lunch that would help boost the metabolism. It had all those elements.
all right, yeah. So like I said, it's interesting that she mentioned about the soy because, you know, you hear all these good things about soy, and I was drinking a lot of soy milk there for a while, and I noticed I was getting bloated from it. So you just have to kind of, you know, watch it is all. I still do a lot of soy. I eat edamame, love those, and that sort of thing. So, yeah. Any questions?
So really what you're trying to get to is maybe 4 or 5 meals a day, but really small meals.
Right.
Of the right kind of stuff.
Right.
Not a huge, not a big sit-down dinner kind of.
Right, exactly. You got that right. Yeah.
You had told me once the formula for becoming a sumo wrestler.
Oh, right, the sumo wrestler diet. The sumo wrestler diet is starve yourself all day, and then at night sit down to a Thanksgiving meal.
That's what my husband likes to do. He says carbs in, what does he say? Calories in, calories out. If I eat 2,000 calories at 9 o'clock at night, it's the same as if I eat them all day long. And I'm going, it just doesn't seem right.
Right.
We do have life insurance on them.
Oh, that's a good thing.
But yeah, that's the battle I have with him. He doesn't want to eat until like in the evening, and then he just eats all night.
Right.
Yeah.
And it does his, you know, does he notice that does he feel well, or, you know, he's like, you know, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Here, talk to this.
I understand. All right, so yes, moving on to point number 7, and she mentioned that to eat more protein throughout the day, it does increase your metabolism. And what it also does is it helps repair your tissues. When you break them down, when you've done that, you know, resistance training workout, then you need to replace it, you know, repair those muscles with some protein.
So what are some examples of protein? I mean, obviously
Oh,
chicken,
yes.
you know.
Okay, good question. You want to make them lean protein. Low-fat protein would be skinless, boneless chicken breast, or even skinless chicken breast with the bone in it. Like a lean, very lean hamburger. You can get that at, I guess, at Schnucks or even Deerberg's. It's like 93% fat-free hamburger, or even better yet, you can even go to, I don't know how you feel about going to Whole Foods, but they've got grass-fed beef, which is beef that's been, cows that have been fed grass mostly rather than grain, and so they're leaner, and so consequently they don't have as much fat. So lean meat, lean red meat, lean chicken, chicken breast, fish. Most fish is, you know, very good for you. Even though they might be high in fat, it's the good fats, omega-3s that they have in their, with the protein of the fish that makes them really good for you. So what else is lean? What else is protein? There's some vegetables that are actually high in protein. If you mix like beans and rice together, that becomes a complete protein. Soy products, you know, tofu. I don't really like tofu, but and even some of those you know, things that you get, I guess, at health food stores, Whole Foods, where it doesn't have real meat in it. It's like made from soy, but it's like hamburger, vegetarian hamburger.
Boca burgers, yeah.
Boca burgers, that sort of thing. Those are high in protein too.
Is
So-
dairy have protein in it?
Yes, dairy has protein in it. So cheese, yeah, so yogurt, but you want to make them low fat if you can. Milk, if you make it, you know, skim to 1%. I know. I know.
It's an acquired taste, it really is.
It is an acquired taste.
Yeah.
It really
Is
is.
there a magic number per day that you should strive towards of eating protein? Like, you know, we've talked about, I don't know, her bar had like 5 grams, no, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Or that's fiber, I guess.
Right.
And you
Yeah,
said
that
that
was
was
fiber.
good. So what's a,
For
I mean,
fiber
per serve, yeah.
or protein?
Protein. I was
Yeah,
thinking
this only has 2 grams of protein and 5 fiber.
Well, it depends on your fitness level. A bodybuilder, for instance, will want to eat more protein because he needs that. I'd say, you know, maybe 1 ounce of protein per every pound of body weight that he weighs. But for just the average person that just wants to be in good health, you know, maybe I think there's a formula of 0.8 grams per every ounce of, or every pound of body weight that you weigh, that you want to eat. So maybe even half, or maybe 1, you know, honestly, I'm gonna have to, look, yeah.
I think about my weight, that's a lot.
Yes, I know. But you know, like a 4-ounce piece of chicken is probably, there's like 8 grams of protein per every ounce in that. So that's like 32 ounces of protein right there.
Oh,
Right.
Okay, numbers guy.
Yeah, right.
He came up with that one real quick.
Did he? Oh, did he? Okay, all right. I wasn't listening to him over there. All right, so let's move on to our final point here, number 8. Perform at least 30 minutes of cardio 5 to 7 times a week, and vary it. So say you're on the treadmill one day, then do the elliptical the next. It just keeps you from getting bored. It also keeps you from getting injured. Now, another thing that's really, really going to increase your metabolism in just doing cardio is to perform interval training 2 times a week. Interval training is where say you're on a treadmill, for instance. You want to warm up for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then you're going to go all out for 1 minute or 30 seconds, and then bring it down for a minute, and then repeat that a few times. Even if you only did 15 minutes of interval training, that really is even better than 45 minutes of just straight cardio. Speed. And getting your heart rate up. Getting your heart rate up between 65 to 85% of your max, which I can help you with too. There's a formula that I use. Normally, the rule of thumb that they've been using for years and years and years is that 220 minus your age is your heart rate that you should be in. And it can be as high as, that can be for you, maybe that's 12 beats higher than it should be for you, or 12 beats lower. So it's really not that accurate. So I have a formula that I use.
Spread that out.
Yeah, right.
What, I've been right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she wrote down what you said, you go in that order.
Oh, so I shouldn't be doing that.
It's not.
The 220 minus your.
220 minus your age, don't use that formula.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Paying attention to what I'm writing.
The most accurate now they're saying is the talk test. And it would be a test that I would have to give you myself. I would have you on a piece of cardio equipment, and you starting out and talking, and then I'd say, okay, how are you feeling? And you might be repeating a verse or say the ABCs or something, and you won't be breathless or anything. You'll be, okay, I'm doing all right. Well, then that would be your starting at very low point of your heart rate. You wear a heart rate monitor and you look up and we're going to record that. And then when you start increasing that, and you start getting a little breathless, you're having trouble talking, that's the point where it reaches, and I hope I'm not getting too scientific, but you get to, right before you get to the point where you're comfortable to where you're getting uncomfortable, that is called the VT1, the ventilation threshold 1, and that's where you might be at the bottom of your 65% of your max. So you would record that number on from your heart rate, and then we would continue until we got to also a Borg scale of, say it's a scale of, on a scale of 1 to 10, that VT1 might be a 5 or a 6, okay? But then when we get to VT2, which is where your max, you're at your 85 to 92% of your max, then you're going to be on a scale of 8, 9, maybe 10. No, maybe not 10, but 9.
And that's where you can't talk.
Right, you can't talk. And you cannot do that. You cannot sustain that for very long.
So where in there do you know your heart rate?
Well, you'd have to wear a heart rate monitor.
Could you be doing it at the gym and holding on where it tells you what your heart rate is and be doing it that way?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I did the 220 minus the age,
Yes.
it gave me an idea, which I thought was good
Yeah.
for where I'm working out, which mine is supposed to be at like 124, 130, something like that. So I always have been striving for that.
Right.
But I can't keep that pace very long. So
Right.
it's hard for me to stay there, but I can get up to that,
Okay.
reduce a little bit, and then try to get back up. So maybe that's more like an interval speeding up, because I watch it on the treadmill or elliptical. I watch my heart rate, but if that's not where I'm supposed to be because I did it this other way, then maybe that's not good.
Right, you may be working too hard.
No, I'm not working hard enough.
Obviously.
So I'm doing 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week. I've not lost a pound, I'm gaining weight.
Oh, wow.
See, so, and I'm doing all this.
What is the reason for this? Yeah, muscle weight more than that.
Not strength training.
No, right now I'm just doing that, but,
Yeah. Well,
the other thing with me, which I've been told, which hopefully now that the 13 months have gone by, is I'm recently a non-smoker. So my metabolism I know has changed, that's why I gained the weight, that's why I'm I'm doing most of this stuff you're saying, but I just basically started it, maybe 4 or 5 months, but still, I'm not losing any weight though.
right.
So it's a real bummer when you're
How long
gaining
has it been since you quit?
It's 13 months. So I,
After 2 years, you're gonna notice that it's gonna be a
well,
lot easier.
and my metabolism's always been great. And my age too, I mean, I'm also older, so I understand all
Right,
that.
right.
But, and I'm starving all the time, starving all the time. So,
Really.
That's what happens.
yeah, I'm just, all this is.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Yes.
She's been 5 years for her.
Yeah. So I was willing to give myself the first year, I didn't expect to gain as much weight as I gained. But I understand, and that's a good trade, and it's not a good trade, but it's an
Right,
okay
it's, you're
trade.
healthier.
Because I surely, hopefully I can lose it.
Right, you will. Just use these steps, like maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe it might be something that maybe you're eating too much.
Oh, my quantity is good food, but too much. Like not 20 almonds, 40.
Yes, okay.
You know what I mean?
portion
So,
size.
yeah, it's my
Yes.
portion, I don't know that it's my food.
Yeah, it's your portion
But
size.
it's just,
Because you used to smoke a cigarette and you were.
oh yeah,
that.
that's true, and I know that, but you would think, you wouldn't keep gaining.
I will tell you something that probably won't help my business out at all, but it's actually, if you really do want to lose weight, it's more important that you eat the right foods in the right portions, smaller portions, than it is for actually exercising. Exercising helps you to burn the calories and helps you to maintain your weight loss. But if you are really, if you had a choice between working out and eating or whatever, and you want to lose weight, go with the food. The nutrition is more important. And so that goes with another question: can I eat whatever the hell I want if I'm exercising all the time? Well, no. The answer is no. If you want to lose weight. I mean, there are some athletes that eat a lot, but they exercise, you know, like, oh God, 5 or 6 hours a day, like what's his name? Yeah, Lance Armstrong. He was eating 6,000 calories a day, but he was working out 6 hours a day, really, really hard. Now, if he would continue to eat that and stop exercising, he would really put it on. So it's a balance thing, but it's really important. So watch your portion sizes, reduce your portion sizes.
I am getting better. It's not as like frantic anymore. So that is getting better, and it's been 12 months. So I figured that's good.
Right.
And now starting this next 12 months, hopefully doing a little better.
Okay. Yeah.
Quantity.
Right. Quantity.
I'm sorry.
No.
I just kind of disagree with you though on the food versus exercise because, because I find that, you know, I see real skinny girls and stuff, but they're not healthy,
Right.
you know?
Not healthy.
And then I see also that you know, when you don't exercise, you're hungrier. After I come home from the gym, I'm not hungry at all,
Right,
you know?
right.
So,
Until you start eating.
yeah, until you start eating, then you're starving.
Okay, and then I start eating.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop,
Yeah.
if I just didn't start. But I'm
I have
just
said
saying.
that before.
Yeah.
But then if you don't eat, then you
Right.
really are hungry later.
Right.
So I know.
But I think what she was referring to was, and I did this years ago before you taught me anything.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But I used to think, you know, you go with Slim Fast. All I did was drink a shake in the morning. I lost so much weight, and I thought, you know what, I don't need to exercise.
Yeah, right.
Because it was working. And I said, oh, look, I didn't do any exercise, and I lost the weight like that.
Really?
And I was happy with it.
Right.
And then I started coming back. And that's when I said, you know, you do need that balance.
Right, you do
So-
need the balance.
You need balance, yeah.
Right.
And you're hard and you're bumpy.
Oh, you're not healthy, you guys are
Right.
Right, you're not healthy,
Yeah.
that's for sure, that's
I
true.
mean, the exercise is
Exercise, don't get me wrong, exercise is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, you need that lean muscle mass, you really do.
And I guess it's been about, 4 months now. I was in an attic and I fell out of an attic
Oh, did
onto
you?
the floor. And if I didn't have the strong muscle and bones that I have, I'd have broke my back,
Oh,
you
wow.
know. But I do a lot of weight training, so
Oh,
it
good
made a
for you.
big, I mean, the doctor said it's the only reason to save me,
Wow.
was my bones were strong, you know, because I
Right.
fell 8 feet onto a concrete floor in my back.
And hit a faucet.
And hit a faucet on the way down, and I'm fine. You know, I mean, my back still hurts a little bit, but I didn't break my back, you know, like he said I should have, you know.
Wow.
So, and I think it comes from the exercise. I
Right,
really
yeah,
do.
right. Yeah, it does.